Hi guys, I'm here to show you how to order fractions on a number line, particularly when the denominators are different numbers to each other. It's pretty easy to order fractions when the denominators are all the same, because you just have a look at what the numerator is and order them accordingly. But if the denominators are different, it's kind of difficult to picture what size the fraction is compared to some others. And so I thought it might be a good idea to show you how to do that on a number line so you can order them correctly. Okay, so some of these fractions are quite straightforward to do, and I would encourage you, if you have a question like this, to put the easiest ones on first. What you're essentially going to do though, each time that you put a fraction on the number line, is you're going to divide the line into however many pieces the denominator tells you the fraction values. Okay, so the first one we're going to do is a half because it's the easiest. So I'm essentially going to divide it into two sections, this one and then this one, and then because it's 1/2, I'm going to write 1/2 here on the line. The second one that's pretty easy is a quarter. Okay, so I'm dividing the line into 4 sections because 4 is on the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, and because it's 1/4, I'm going to write it on the first marker there. Okay, the other ones get a little bit more tricky. And what I did with my class is we actually used different colours to divide these up, so it was a little bit easier to not get them confused. The next one I'm going to do is 7/8. So I'm going to divide my line up into 8 sections. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then that would be 8 at the end. Alright, and 7/8 is going to be on the 7th marker. Okay. Alright, cross 7/8 out because I've done that. 3/5, so I'm going to divide my line up into 5 sections. And this is where it gets a bit hard because you've got to try and ignore the other ones that you've done. And that's why we do different colours if we can. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. And it doesn't have to be super accurate. You noticed I haven't measured centimeters or anything because that'd be tricky with the amount of different denominators. But just do your best to make it as accurate as possible. Okay, 1/5, 2/5, 3/5, 4/5. Okay, so my 3/5 is going to be here. Okay, and the last one I have is 1/12. So I'm going to divide my line up into 12ths. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13. Hi guys, I'm here to do a quick video on ordering fractions on a number line, alright? So the first thing you need is an excellent black texter like Charlie Dixon's loaned to me. Thank you very much, Charlie. This video would not be half as good without this texter from Charlie. Okay, so drawing a line on our page. You notice I haven't measured it exactly, and I'll tell you why that is in a little while. So 0 at one end, 1 at the other. Sometimes you might need to extend your number line to 2 or 3. That just depends on the fractions that you are provided with. So this time I'm going to have 5 different fractions, and I'm writing them below, not necessarily in order of size. Even though it looks like I'm increasing the denominators, it doesn't necessarily mean that the fraction is bigger because the denominator number is larger. So that's something to bear in mind. Okay, 1/2, 1/4, 3/8, 1/12, and 3/5. Okay? Obviously, some of these are easier than others. So I'm going to start straight away by doing a half. And what I do each time, whether I realize it or not, is that I'm dividing my line between 0 and 1 into however many whatever the size of the denominator is. So for example, for a half goes right in the middle, but I've actually divided my line into 2 parts, okay? 2 being the denominator, and because it's 1 out of 2, that's the first marker that I put on, or a half. Okay, a quarter is pretty easy too. I'm going to divide my number into 4 areas. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 1/4 would be the first marker. Alright, so from here on in it gets a little bit trickier. So I'm going to actually use different colours to make it clearer for you. I'm going to do 1/12 next because that's going to require me to divide my line up into 12 sections. Okay, so I want to make sure that I'm not going to confuse this with the other markers. Alright, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, look, are they even? No, but they're as close to even as I can try and get today. Okay, 1/12, 1 being the numerator, so it's just the first marker, and that belongs there. Okay, so you can see just because the denominator is larger, being 12, doesn't necessarily mean that the fraction's bigger as a whole, because the pieces are smaller, and if I've only got 1 out of 12, that's going to be smaller than 1 out of 4, for example. Okay. Now I've got 3/8, okay, is my next one. So I'm going to divide my line up into 8s, all right, and work from there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 8 out of 8 would be 1 whole up the end there. Okay, 1, 2, 3. All right. And then my last one is 5ths. This is probably the most uneven one. It's going to be 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 3/5, 1, 2, 3. And then we're done. Okay, so now that it's on a number line, we need to actually write our answer, as in what order these fractions truly belong in if they're going to be valued from smallest to largest. Okay, so all you have to do is just read along the number line there. So 1/12. Whoops. The next largest is 1/4. 3/8 is after that. 1/2, and then 3/5. All right. Perfect.